Hey folks, it's me Kunal and we are here to learn about AWS Lambda today. So what is AWS Lambda? Think of it as an website that you have created and it is about a library in your college and it is being used for only the library period or the break meanwhile your two lectures. So what is the time period max? It is used for like 1 to 2 hours maximum, but you need to host that particular website somewhere on any server which needs to be running 24/7. So the amount of loss that you have to pay for is about 80 to 90%, which is too much for us college students. So the solution over that is AWS Lambda. So what does AWS Lambda does is, so firstly, let's know about the formal definition. So it says a function as a service platform that runs the code in response to events. So what does that mean is our Lambda function is kind of function which needs to be triggered by any event. So whenever any trigger comes, so for example, let's take S3 bucket, and in that bucket, if you upload any image, then that is counted as an trigger, and if and the function which is connected to it, which is Lambda function, it gets triggered, and the task is done according to what the code is inside that particular function. Also get into the features of that particular Lambda, which is serverless. So what is serverless? It doesn't mean like it doesn't have any server at all. It has servers, but those servers are managed by Amazon itself. Like our users don't need to manage those servers by themselves. Amazon takes care about it. So stateless means that particular code is not going to remember what the previous input was or what kind of output it generated on that particular previous inputs. Next is the goal. So what is the goal for AWS Lambda is to stop managing infrastructure and start writing logic. So we don't need to care about how our application is going to be scaled or how it is going to be manage the users on that. So no, we don't need to worry about anything like that. Our code, our AWS Lambda manages it all for us. We just need to start writing the logic and perform our intended tasks. Key features and the workflow. So first, the key features are like it has the serverless architecture. We have recently talked about it. Next is event driven. So what is event driven means it needs to be triggered by something. Third is auto scaling. We don't need to worry about any kind of the triggers, any kind of the scaling. Like, and the most important, which is for our students, like it is pay as you go pricing. So as much as your application is being used, like our example, the library that is being used for particularly 1 to 2 hours max to max. So so the amount of requests that are being made in that particular time period, we need to pay only for that. The next is the workflow. The first is triggers. So the triggers can, as I told, triggers can be anything like S3 bucket. So if student upload any image or particular data about the by taking our example library, if any student uploads any new book entry, so that is also the trigger. And the execution, our Lambda functions that we have entered any kind of the functionality in the function, that is going to be execute on that trigger. The next is output. If we have connected any database such as Dynamo database, then it will update that database also. And the next is the most important, which is language freedom. So it supports Python, Node.js, Java, Go, and C Sharp also. So if we know any one of the particular stack, then we are ready to use the Lambda. The limitations. So the first is limited execution time. So question in your mind that might have been arised is like, why don't we host our entire application on the Lambda? So it's not possible. Why? Because first reason, it is made for the short term tasks, like kind of events, or if your application is there and any new user joins, then we can send the welcome email to that user. So that is the short term task. For that kind of task, our Lambda is made for. It has the 15-minute timer. So what is that? Like our application can, our function can sustain for only 50, max to max 15 minutes. So that's why it can sustain only short term tasks. The next is stateless nature. As we have seen, each Lambda function is independent. So So it doesn't remember about the previous inputs and outputs. It's like a blank slate for every new entry or the triggers. The next is cold start delays. Uh, if our function is not being used for the for particular time period, which is its limit, and if it is still not being used, then Amazon automatically spins it down. So that's why if any new entry comes, then our environment needs to set up from the start again. So it takes the cold start every time. Hmm. So where AWS Lambda shines? Like what are the use cases? What kind of projects or what kind of tasks in your project you can carry out with using AWS Lambda? So the first is serverless web backends. So here we can use the options that can be carried out with AWS Lambda, like generating any new responses or kind of sending the emails and all. That can be done by our backend, and which are based on our Lambda. The second is chatbots and animations. For example, let's take a Discord. Our application, our chatbot will analyze the schedule of our college, and it will do it once daily. So our server don't need to be running for 24/7. It will take kind of 2 to 3 minutes of time every day, and it will scan your schedule and check if any kind of new event or kind of update that you need to know. It will give only that to you. So that is the use case of chatbot based on Lambda. Third is automated data cleaning. Let's take an example, like your any IoT device is being used and it generates a CSV data every hour. So on every hour it will generate a lot of data, and that data might include the duplicate values also. So that need to be cleaned out. So the real-time file processing. The real-time file processing will include, let's take an example of the image processing. For example, if any user uploads a 4K image, then it will create your three versions. First is thumbnail, second is compressed version, and the fourth is the cropped version, like a square box or 3 by 4 for every image. So that can be a real-time file processing which can be done using our Lambda. So thank you guys for listening to me, and I hope your idea about Lambda is very clear right now, and we'll explore more about AWS in meanwhile. Thank you.